up spear, riding across the land, kicking up sand, sharing slices on my tail, 'cause I'm in demand.
On Tuesday the 18th, around 10 o'clock, a number of soldiers were spotted marching towards the common. Dr. Warren was notified and immediately sent off for Paul Revere to head to Lexington.
Send Paul Revere to Lexington.
Paul Revere then went to Dr. Warren's house.
Mr. Revere.
Dr. Warren.
Take a seat. Now, as you may know already, the British are coming. And I need you to set off for Lexington immediately. There you're going to meet the same people that you did last Sunday. I already set out my signal, so they know that the British have came by sea. Do you have any other questions? Okay, good luck.
Paul Revere then went to the north part of town where he had two friends row him across the Charles River.
Paul then needed to find a horse.
Hey, bitch, let me get that horse.
Why the hell do you need my horse?
The British are coming!
You can have it, mate. After Paul passed Charlestown Neck, he spotted two British soldiers sitting under a tree.
Who the fuck?
Is that Paul Revere? I'm gonna get you, you little... After escaping the two British soldiers, Paul then finally met up with his acquaintances.
Is that my man Sammy I hear?
Hey! What's up?
Yeah, so I'm riding on my horse and these two British soldiers come up with their guns chasing me, but I just got away. I don't know who they were.
Wow, that's scary, mate. I'm glad you got through it. We've just been sitting here telling the citizens about, excuse me, how the British have been coming by the sea, and it's been a boring kind of day for us, you know.
The trio then set off for Concord, alarming all houses in between that the British were coming.
The British are coming! The British are coming!
The British are coming!
The British are coming! Oh my lord!
When Dr. Prescott and William answered his call, Paul Revere was surrounded by 4 British officers. They all tried to get away, but the officers had pistols and swords, so they listened when they were told to go into the pasture. Dr. Prescott then made a break for it and hopped his horse over a stone fence to get to Concord.
Samuel! William!
Is that Paul Revere?
Get into the pasture.
He made a break for it, but was then met by 6 British officers on horseback and was told to dismount his horse.
Stop! Dismount your horse. What is your name and where have you come from?
Paul Revere from Boston.
Are you an express?
Yes.
What time did you leave Boston?
10. I saw your troops coming from across the river, and I warned everyone from Boston to Lexington. 500 troops will be here shortly.
Paul Revere, I'm going to ask you some questions. And if you don't get me honest answers, I will blow your brains out. Here. Mount your horse.
Take us to Lexington. If he attempts to run or insults anybody, blow his brains out.
When they reached Lexington, they heard shots fired by the American Battalion. This frightened them, so they asked Paul for directions to Cambridge and if there were any other roads they could take. They then proceeded to take his horse and leave him to walk home alone in the dark. Revere then made his way back to Mr. Clark's house. He there told him about the treatment he received from the British soldiers.
I was captured by the British. They're really mean. I'm so sorry.
At daybreak, he and Mr. Clark then saw British troops marching into the town.
Is that the British? Oh no.
They were running towards the meeting house when they stopped 100 yards short. They then saw British troops appear on both sides. Revere and Clark then heard gunfire. They left as soon as possible to let the British troops in Italia settle out their differences. The end. I got this soda. When my boys, they know us. All fast money, no slow bucks. Yeah, baby, Revere boys.
Yeah.
Oh no, the hat. We're fucked. The hat is not staying on.
You have to wear the hat. You're Paul
It's not
Revere.
staying on! Okay, ready? Tell me what you're doing.
They then got to Lexington, where they asked Paul Revere for directions to the local grocery store because they wanted ice cream.
Come in the